Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Merry Christmas. Welcome to the special Christmas edition of the Makers Podcast. Welcome in. Kojima. Welcome in. Bobo Duo. Welcome in. How are you all doing? Thank you very much for that follow. Momo. Hello. Make mistakes. Well, yeah, I'm hoping you're here because you are tonight's very, very special guest. Seskimo, good evening. Who else is here? Wolfman, hello. How's it going? And Breezy Lady B, hello. I hope everyone is doing amazing tonight, this afternoon, whatever time zone you are in. And Sharpie's here as well. And White Wolf is here, and so is Drive. Hello. You be lurking. Yeah, superb. I totally understand, Drive. Totally understand. Yes, no hail hydrates tonight. And Stray's here too. Brilliant. Hello, Stray. Oh, lovely to see you all tonight, guys. Lovely. Oh, got an amazing show for you tonight. An amazing show. Specifically a Christmas show. Because, yes, sorry, one sec. The driver's just asked, no goth makeup tonight. That was a very, very special workshop stream only situation. We will not be a goth tonight because it's Christmas. We've got to be extremely happy. For tonight, we're going to have a very, very Christmassy episode. And for that, we need a very, very Christmassy person. For frosting my beard, no. But yes, tonight we have a very, very special guest. The ever wonderful MakeMistakes. The man of many, many talents. Woodworking. He's a DJ. He's also can only be described as Buff Santa. So let's bring him out. Everyone say hello to the ever amazing. Let me press the right button here. Press the right buttons. MakeMistakes. Welcome in. You're muted.
Am I?
Yes. Yay.
Am I? Ho. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Lasergeek, for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. There we go, guys. Oh.
Say the Scottish sun. Love it, Sharpie.
Oh, yep. Everyone is loving it. I told you something was amazing was going to happen tonight. Look at this. We have, got to have Santa on. Look at it.
Yeah. And that's the end of the show.
Totally the end of the show.
I will say these fake glasses are going to come off.
Oh.
They're just distorting my vision.
Oh dear. We have your cameras went.
Friends.
Your cameras went down.
Maybe. Let's try again.
I have a camera issue. 2 seconds. Oh no, I'm straddling both sides. No. Come back.
Oh, no.
Do we have you back? Yes.
Camera back? Camera?
Yes, we have you back. Yes. Yay.
There we go.
Santa's back. Yay. Oh. My computer freezes up. No, we're good. We're good. I thought it was having issues, but we're good. We're good now. Oh, technical issues.
No more tech issues today, please.
Yeah. Yeah. We know podcast was nearly not happening today. Santa was nearly having issues.
An hour before stream start, I'm driving to the store to buy a new internet router.
Oh, yeah.
But we're solid now.
We're all solid. Oh, but yes. Make Mistakes, aka Delbrock. As you go by both here on Twitch.
Make Mistakes is the channel, Delbrock is the name,
yep.
but I'll respond to either.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst case scenario, call me Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Hardly anybody calls me Steve, though.
So, first things first. Tell us about your channel on Twitch. What do you do?
Well, I make mistakes. This is the answer. I developed the Make Mistakes channel because I've never really considered myself a maker per se. And one of the core concepts I came up with was that you really don't learn how to make new things unless you try them, and trying them involves making mistakes. So I become an advocate for making those mistakes, big or small. Try them. And while I have the resources, a large shop and lots of tools, I don't necessarily have the knowledge on how to apply those. But I think putting together a stream where I talk my way through these tools, through these processes, through these projects, maybe making some pretty neat stuff along the way, but making mistakes, it sort of normalizes it for everybody else. There's a person, Anne of All Trades on YouTube, if you're familiar with her.
Yeah.
One of her comments recently, or her little Instagram segments, was about, let me see if I can phrase it correctly. The antidote for the fear of failure. And that's sort of rang true for me, because I'm trying this because I have that fear of failure. Everybody does.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, that was paralyzing for me. I didn't do anything. I didn't come out here. I didn't touch the tools. They're collecting dust. And that's still true for some point, some part of this equation. But this stream is my attempt at an antidote for the fear of failure. And I hope that antidote is spreading to other people too. So that's the core concepts around the Make Mistakes channel.
Yeah, and that is a huge thing for a lot of makers, is that people kind of stick with what they know, and they'll only just do what they know, and kind of I'm good at this, and I'll just do that.
Most of the pictures I sent you are all pens.
Yes,
because I'm good at turning pens. I've done it for 5-6 years. Most of the pictures I'll send you are that I'm proud of. I can do this really well. I've done the practice. I've done the failures, and I kind of stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more I want to do and I can do that we're going to start branching away from those pens.
Yeah, and that and it's a good thing to do. And like as you say, making mistakes is how we all learn. It's a core concept in most of education. It's not just in the making, it's in the whole of life. You learn more from your mistakes than you do from your from getting it right. Yeah. In the end, you're always going to kind of go, oh right, I've mucked that up. How can I do better the next time?
Yep.
As long as you don't lose an arm or a leg,
Sure, exactly. I mean, I've got my fair share of scars that we're all learning scars.
Well, you've had your fair share of interesting issues.
This one up here.
Talking of that, the most infamous one is punching yourself.
If anybody has the emote, you can drop it into chat there. Did you actually pick up that clip?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to pick that one up.
That one right there. That was actually either my first or second stream on Twitch where that emote is derived from. I was having a issue with the lathe itself, and the lathe uses an expanding pulley system to change the gear ratios on the fly of the belt that drives it. And so I disassembled it without looking at the instructions. I glanced at the instructions, but it's a Harbor Freight lathe. Their instructions are photocopied 75 times and then mailed through a bucket of mud. So they weren't exactly helpful in the first place. I was trying to extract the pulley off of the shaft, and I had assumed incorrectly that it was just a friction fit that had a retaining ring on. Took the retaining ring off, and I started using tools to try and move it off. Actually, went and bought a pulley puller, a gear puller that sort of latches onto it. You tighten it down, it slides it off the shaft. None of that worked. That actually broke the cast metal pulley itself. So once it's broken, I've got free reign to start using excessive force to make it do what I want it to do. So I actually stuck a pry bar inside that pulley. I'm trying to inch it off. It's not budging at all. But me being the strong guy I am, I got down in there, put my weight behind it, and it gave way. It broke completely off one side. And you see where my hand is, it's aimed right at my face. And it went, bow! Punched myself in the face, broke my glasses, sent my glasses flying. That's like stream 1 for Make Mistakes. And it sort of set the tone for the channel. It comes to find out there's a set screw in there, just one screw. If I'd unscrewed that set screw, it would slid right off.
I need to actually find it now.
It's pretty good. It's one of my earliest. I think it's probably my first clip.
Is it still in here? Top. Got tree boom. Is it the Make Mistakes one? So, yeah, it's probably this one. Yeah, that's it there.
Yeah, you're right, Mitchie. Had I just found the screw and taken it off, I wouldn't have had this very cool clip or the story to tell.
I'll post it into the chat. There we go. There you go, guys. You can watch that.
Yeah, take a look at that one. You want to watch the inset cam in the upper left. That's the one you want to take a look at because that's where all the action happens.
Oh, no. So that it kind of set a precedent for you there.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
And that weekend, I went to a wedding with a little of a shiner on that cheek.
Ouch. Yeah. So was that? Have you been in a fight?
Or somebody asked me, "Are you safe at home?"
Oh.
Yeah, I can take her.
Oh my God. So, what sort of things do you normally make?
Pens.
Actually,
mistakes.
Yeah, apart from the mistakes, yeah.
Apart from the mistakes, you mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I did take the screw out, Michi. That's how I got it repaired. I've got a brand new set of pulleys in there now, assembled correctly this time. I don't have, other than turnings, and turnings has probably been the one I'm practiced at the most. I don't have a set thing that I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm stuck in the mode of reorganizing the shop so that I can get the tools in usable locations, because I've got things oriented such that nothing makes sense. There's no workflow to it.
You're right.
And I just added that laser cutter to it. So
yeah,
I'm still fixing up the laser cutter. Join the Pew Pew Club.
You're part of the Pew Pew fam now. That Pew Pew fam. How are you finding the laser cutter? Have you managed to get it up and running yet?
It is completely disassembled on the table over there. And true to form, during disassembly, I broke something.
Oh, what did you manage to break?
The carriage that slides on the crossbar that carries the down pointing mirror for the laser out
Right.
into the workpiece. There's a screw that has a standoff to it. I took the standoff off, and then crack, broke the screw all the way off, flat with the surface there. So I had to purchase a new one. That has come in. So I need to do some more cleanup and final reassembly.
Yeah.
Hopefully by January we'll be pew-pewing everything.
Yay.
All the things.
All the pew-pews. It's gonna be another cool tool for you to be able to use in the workshop. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have to use it in new and unusual ways.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I need to get my hands on it, get some experience with how it works and whatnot. But I want to do I had an idea and it's lost. I've lost it. Sort of like recycled plastic bottles that have been carved themselves. So put it on we call it a axis or a turning axis.
Right.
Put a plastic bottle on there and cut designs out of that plastic bottle and shape it such that you could use it as, say, a candle holder or something like that. That's something I haven't seen that I want to give a try.
The issue you will find there is that those plastic bottles usually contain vinyl, and so that will kill you and the machine.
Hooray!
That's why you don't normally see those.
Right. Maybe I'll go with a different path, like wooden ones, perhaps. So turn something wooden on the lathe and do the laser cutting that way.
Yeah. It's just that's the biggest thing with lasers is anything that's got kind of PVC, don't cut it, because the minute you see green smoke, that's a bad sign. Chlorine gas is bad.
Yeah, I'll bet. So good ventilation. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But as far as your other question is other stuff I've made, my wife has this collection of perfume bottles, and I've been making some wall-mounted display cases for them.
Oh, we've just had a raid in.
Hello, Raiders.
E-Jim, welcome in, Raiders.
Ho, ho, ho.
Welcome to our Christmas stream. Yes. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you, Michi, for the shout out. Welcome in. We're currently talking to MakeMistakes and Delbrock all about his amazing journey of making his life on Twitch. So pull up a chair, come and listen. It's going to be lots of fun. So, as you were saying about what you're making, about perfume bottles.
I made a display case, a set of display cases for the perfume bottles. And again, I'm not a fine woodworker, so I make do with what I got. And as far as materials go and skills I have, so I think they end up looking okay, and they're functional. I've added a few interesting accents here and there that I'm proud of. One of them has strips of Purple Heart across the front as a retaining bar. And the other one, I took some household copper wire, stripped the insulation off, and used my drill to twist two pairs together and made a bar that also has that retaining bar.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of fun with that.
It's always fun when you kind of take these kind of projects on, and then you're like, oh, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? And then you just kind of start experimenting.
We call that scope creep.
I've never heard that word.
Scope creep.
Yeah.
No?
No, that's a word I've never heard.
I've got a friend of mine who's a notorious scope creeper. Like, hey, I've got this idea for this project, and he goes, "Ooh, that's cool. Here's what you can add to it. Here's how to make it better and larger and spreading out." So we actually call him scope creep.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, I'm guilty of scope creep.
Yeah, I think a lot of makers and crafters are like that though.
Mm-hmm.
We all kind of get that moment of going, oh, what can I just add to this? What if I just take this and then go, oh, plop, this and this, experiment time. There's so much, Stardust says, gratuitously over-engineering stuff is the best. Which is very true. If it isn't over-engineered, is it really worth it?
Right. And I've got a passing interest in electronics too. So some of the stuff I've been thinking about doing is electronics related, trying to integrate that into the stream, have some more fun that way. I mentioned adding a light to the inside of a cooler, and over a 2-hour car drive, my friend in Scope Creep and we developed this project where the bottles you put in are RFID tagged and has a grid of lights in the bottom. So you can tell exactly where this type of beer was placed in the cooler by pressing the corresponding color on the control panel. It would light up one of those beers and you just grab it.
Okay, that's, super.
That's a little too far. It's like one of those pie in the sky sort of.
Yeah. But it works. It totally works.
Nobody would buy it, but it's hilarious and fun.
There we go. Here's a question for you. What's your favorite beer?
Sharpie Thief, the one in my hand. I got started into beer with a local beer called Yingling in the East Coast, Northeast. So as a basic lager, Yingling lager is the one I go for as far as like what I like to start with. Exactly. But if you want my overall favorite beer, there's the free kind, exactly. There's a brewery local to me called Flying Fish. They make one based off the New Jersey exits, because that's the joke about New Jersey, what exit you're from. Because there's interstates on both sides of the state. Anyway, so there are themed beers there. I think it's exit 3 or exit 4. I think it's the exit 4, which is an American triple. The Trenton makes exit, exactly. So it's a triple. It's a heavy American beer, but has European hints to it. That's my favorite. One of the Flying Fish exits. What am I drinking now? I'm drinking a Firestone Stout called Mole Merkin. It's a milk stout with bourbon barrels, cocoa nibs, cinnamon, and chili pepper. I like it. Hardly, that's pretty close, Sharpie.
And none of that made sense to me because I don't drink beer. Oh,
that's fine. We'll learn you.
Oh, yeah. At some point, I've never managed to get the taste for it at all. It's just no. So it was the. I've not been able to get the taste for any alcohol. No, I'm weird like that. I'm the rare case of a teetotal Scot. Yeah, it's that weird one. It's like whiskey or go home. Nah, I don't even do whiskey. Yeah.
Oh, I drink whiskey too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll drink your share. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can have mine. You totally have mine.
Or do just the Velcro here.
There we go. Gotta get yourself. Gotta be presentable. Gotta be presentable, Santa.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, how long have you been making? You know, because you've got this fantastic shop. It looks like you've had it for a while.
Yeah. The shop was a sort of a life goal for my wife and I. We've had this probably 8 years now. I think I think 8 years now. 2012 when we built it. I'm laughing at me.
I saw that as well.
Santa.
Yep. Totally.
So we've had the shop for 8 years, and it's divided in half. I've sort of taken over space in her side until I get this side cleaned out. It's a his and hers sort of thing. She'll do whatever she wants on her side, and I'll do whatever I want in mine. Fortunately, I've had to spread out a little bit, and once I get organized over here, I'll be able to return her space back to her usage. But making goes back before that. We moved into this house 2001. We had a little workshop in the basement, and there I made some we call it camp furniture. We can probably get into some of my other hobbies, but I made what's called a Gothic arch chair out of plywood.
All right.
It's a chair that sort of comes to a point behind your head like this, straight down here.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it was designed with plywood to be broken down and portable.
All right.
So I made 6 of those, and that was all in the basement of the shop of the house before we even had this. This sort of making things that are functional but not necessarily pretty has been lifelong, really.
So, you know, did you assume you did like kind of woodworking stuff from school, or?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, in grade school, I had the normal shop classes here and there, but I never stuck with it.
All right.
Through high school and college, I was a science guy.
All right.
But once I picked up some of my other hobbies that had a sort of a focus or a need for other functional equipment to be built, I'm like, you know what? Like Calamity Cat, I can make that.
Yeah. It's amazing that moment of going, I could buy it or I could just make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you end up buying thousands of dollars in equipment to make the stuff you could have bought for $100.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is becoming a running theme now.
yeah,
you know,
it's a thing. It's a thing for most makers. I think we can all identify with it.
Yeah, it's exactly what Calamity said on the last show, which was and I was we'll get this in the chat as well. Everyone, heads up again. Who's all spent more on equipment for making something than they could go and buying it in the shop? Because
I bet you every one of the makers in chat has, or even not even the real makers, the people that call themselves makers have said to themselves, I can make that.
Yeah. But in the end, you get more of a satisfaction from making it yourself, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Is to say, hey, I made this, and then say, I made these mistakes too. Let me improve upon them.
Yes.
So many dang times.
Yeah. And as it's going back to your kind of mantra of, the making the mistakes and learning from it, and being able to go, right, what am I going to do better next time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I may have ruined $100 worth of material in that pen or that project, but I learned a lot on it. So I've got to realize to myself, and it's still an uphill battle for me, that the cost for those materials that I may have broken or wasted or made mistakes on that didn't come out the way I wanted it, that's cost that I'm paying to help me learn. It's still an uphill battle for me.
Yeah. It's. I think I get that the same though. Even though like for me running a business, I many a time will forget that the business is paid for this piece of wood. I've ruined that piece of wood by making a mistake. I've got to actually then go, oh wait a second. That's came out of my profits now.
Right.
Even though because sometimes you forget, because a lot of the times especially if I'm making something that's a bit more fun, you forget and you're like, I'm like, oh, this is more fun. I'm just going to keep going with it rather than going, oh, wait a second, I really should actually maybe try this out on a bit more scrappy stuff.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a perspective I don't have. I don't have anybody depending on me. I don't really. I mean, I did one commission, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it. The customer was satisfied, but again, I had no profit on it because of don't brought the stuff. Yeah.
Delbrock the stuff. So is that what we've got to call it now? We've got to call it Delbrocking.
Yeah, Delbrock. Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand. It's a perspective I don't really consider very often. Is that if a customer's involved?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that it's that's the thing for a lot of makers and crafting. There's usually not a customer involved, or if there is, then it's kind of down the line once you start. You've made it, and then you're like, oh, could I sell this?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I started with pens. I'm like, hey, these are cool. I like these. I guess I could sell them to purchase more pen kits.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. So we've kind of looked at kind of how you kind of got yourself kind of started with your whole kind of maker journey. And, the kind of things that you started on. How did you get into Twitch?
It's kind of a fun story. I'm glad you asked. I've been watching Twitch ever since it was just in TV.
Right.
Never had an account. I would click around, watch some gamers here and there. And my wife and I were bored at one point. We turned on Twitch. We turned on Twitch on our Roku just because it was an app that was already installed. Hey, let's check this out. And we got caught up into this one Grand Theft Auto role player. And she really drug us deeper into Twitch because of the way she interacted with her audience. And from there, we started like saying, hey, this is pretty cool. So we started watching more and more people. I started throwing bits in, started throwing some subs in. My first sub, McLaffy Taffy, is one of the guys behind Pretzel.rocks.
All right.
So I thought it's sort of like I'm using his product now.
Yeah. By the way, guys, Pretzel Rock, absolutely amazing. If you're not using it for your DMCA free music, you really should. Got lots of great options.
They have a holiday channel too.
Yep, that's what I was using before for the music.
That's what I'll be using shortly as well.
Yep.
But anyway,
yep.
But anyway, as far as getting into streaming on Twitch, my friend Mega Gremlin, who's part of the Connection Project, some of you may already know him, he was laid up with a surgical procedure. So I recommended, hey, watch Twitch. We're enjoying a lot of it. So he watched Twitch and said, I've got the experience. I can just do that. So he started streaming on Twitch. And he got involved with a bunch of other people, which ended up being the Connection Project. And Mega Gremlin and Kellen Dory and a few other people caught me on Instagram, where I went live on Instagram. I had never considered going live on Twitch because I didn't have that sort of presence for Twitch, in my opinion. But on Instagram, I get 4 people and they all know me. So I can say, okay, put the phone up here. This is what I'm talking about. Here's my hammer. I can demonstrate what I'm doing. And that started the flood of requests from people like Mega Gremlin and Caladori. Why are you not streaming on Twitch? I'm like, well, I could list all the personal reasons, but they're not really that valid. my crippling fear of public speaking. Let me have some more beer.
Love the fact that you're drinking beer out of a mug.
They make mistakes mug.
Yeah, exactly. I make mistakes mug at that.
In the back.
Love it. Love it.
So it's sort of like as I became more familiar with Twitch and that chat isn't just nameless faces or faceless names of strangers that are just going to sit there and judge you. There are people that are going to interact with you and look for you to interact with them. I started realizing that, hey, that's an avenue for talking about making mistakes. That's for expanding my philosophy to other people and for sharing some pretty neat stuff in the shop if I can manage to do that. Exactly. Chat matters.
That you do.
So, and that's how I got started. I started with a work laptop. It's not even a laptop. It was a Microsoft Surface Pro 4 is what I started from. So it's a glorified tablet. Now I've got my own laptop. Got 3 cameras in here. Like your gremlin gave me a nice microphone. I've got stuff I made specifically for the stream. So it's become a hobby for me, and being able to share that with people now, I call now friends that populate the chat. It's been heartening for me. Say it that way.
Mm-hmm. So it's it sounds like you've kind of found where you're a kind of family within Twitch for yourself. You found
Exactly.
or it's like a lot of people say your tribe. It's it's Twitch does have that effect. Once you start going live, your tribe finds you. It's that
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
it's that sort of thing. It's
And I'm happy to be part of your tribe.
Yeah, because it's that weird, cause like when I, cause so I found you. Did you come to my stream? I think that's how I first met you, wasn't it? Yeah, so I think you came into my stream before I ever came into yours, and then I randomly found the Connection project. Well, it was back being the Discord boys.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I just randomly found that one day when I was going through Just Chatting. And then I was like,
And then you see me there.
I'm like,
there's big
there's
mistakes.
what's going on? I'm like, didn't realize you were in this, and I'm like, oh wow, this must be a good one to be part of, and that's another amazing community that's out there, to be part of.
Since the Discord boys were really the ones that encouraged me and guided me on how to stream better and what it takes to make an okay looking decent stream. They became my friends too.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Connection Project I moderate for their channel. I've been on their podcast, or they call it a podcast, but it's also a vodcast.
Yeah. yeah. It's I changed the name up here to Vodcast after someone went, where did I find the podcast? And I'm like, let's call it a Vodcast. It means it's less confusing for people.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was the, and then, and I realized, at that point, I didn't even realize that you were streaming. And it was that bit when, because at the time I was still pretty new. I didn't know that other people streamed really at that point after time, because it's when you're brand new to streaming as well, you don't always realize these things. Like folk that come into your chat are also streamers.
You've got your head down, you're focused on what you're doing, but then you start looking up and saying, "Hey, there's these people like Seskimo. There's people like Sharpie Thief, and any other people that you want to point at." I'm like, "Hey, their content's good too. I'm going to start consuming that too."
Exactly. And and you come onto your channel and see you making all these cool things. Making some pens. Having doing stuff with resin now. The other crazy stuff that we'll get into in a minute. Because we've got pictures. We've got pictures as well. We've got pictures as well. All the pictures.
There's no evidence of this.
There's so much evidence because you sent me it.
Dang it.
Yeah. But before we get into that, is there any sort of people that inspire you? In terms of like your work, and the people that you're kind of, like woodworkers or kind of people like that you're like, oh, these people are the kind of people that I'm looking up to and kind of help, that sort of thing.
Absolutely, and I like to categorize things, but whether that's the correct way to do it or not, I'm here to make mistakes either way. But I categorize my inspirations into what aspect. Like, for example, you're one of my inspirations because you know how to use the software that runs your machines. That my inspiration is to learn how you do that. and you're showing me how it works, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be that smooth with it. Put those designs in, just go right to the laser, or go right to the CNC. I'm like, that's going to take a while. So you're inspiring me to learn how to do that. There's people that inspire me on the technological side, like Mega Gremlin. His stream is so professional.
Oh yeah.
Like he's got the zoom, he's got the overlays, the transitions, and the effects, and the voiceovers, and just high quality stuff. Is inspiration for that sort of stuff. And then there's the woodcraft art inspirations. There's this guy on Instagram called Scan Woods, SKAN Woods, and he is a hand tool only sort of guy, but he's not like the dry British guys that are saying like the Peter Seller.
Oh dear, what's happened? You've lost your voice. 2 secs. What's happened here? What's happened to your voice? Come back. Are you still working? Speak for me for a second. Oh no, we have lost your voice. No, come back. Okay, we'll just we'll restart the voice.
Check.
There we go.
Check.
Yep. Think we've got you back. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, perfect. Right. We got you back. Yay. Right.
Santa's baby.
There we are.
Anyway, I was talking about Scan Woods, who has a more accessible, down-to-earth style on how to use those hand tools, but with the top-level skill. He's a little rougher on the edges, being a Marine.
All right.
But that's one of my inspirations as far as, hey, I can see what he's doing. He's demonstrating it really well on Instagram, even on Instagram, which is a hard platform to demonstrate something to going live. But I've got attitude inspirations too. Like I mentioned, Anne of All Trades earlier. Her comments around finding the antidote for fear of failure. I'm gonna whip that horse some more. Is an inspiration for me. So I've got categorized inspiration. People like Seskimo is actually inspiration for me too, to be able to plop down and just take this image out of your mind and place it here on the screen for others to consume. It's an arcane art to me. I the designs in my head are muddy. They're not sharp like what she outputs, and being able to translate that through your hands into the technology to share it with people, she's a witch, and I love her for it.
Very much so. Very much. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
She's the Grinch.
The Grinch. Totally.
But those are the sort of people that I find inspirational for me.
Oh. Brilliant. So, that I love that, where you've got, such a well-rounded a lot of inspirations, coming from so many different angles, from the kind of technical point, from, people that are, kind of makers, and then people that are, doing the more technology based, and, that attitude thing, because attitude is such a big thing as well. Totally. And from a maker perspective and from a streamer perspective, it is that thing, like you were saying earlier, being able to turn, that fear of kind of speaking to people, and turning on that camera, that's a massive thing to be able to do, for me, and I assume for you as well at times, or all the time, hitting that go live button, How does it feel before you hit that go live? Are you still like me, where you get the butterflies just before you hit it, or?
Absolutely every time.
Yeah.
There are several times where I didn't hit the go live because of it. It's something I need to overcome. It's part of making mistakes.
Yeah.
If I want people to understand how I'm thinking, I've got to share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one of these things that you have to just push through.
Yep. And it's one of those things, a fear of failure, fearing having a failed stream, or a stream in which I make myself look silly.
Hey, you don't look silly. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're like the best Santa. I just remember when you started talking about growing out the beard for being Santa, and we're like, yes. Yeah.
Yep. I started this in June, and thankfully I've got a good barber who's able to help me maximize my Santa Claus.
Yeah.
30 out of 10. Nice.
Yeah, 30 out of 10. You just got to put on goth makeup and be goth Santa. Hey, that was the best technique I had yesterday for putting on makeup.
And it worked. Like, I'm not sure I could do what you did, so kudos to you.
Yeah, I got roped into doing more than I would have normally done for goth makeup, so yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but so, and well, actually, just talking about like the Santa thing, is that what was that? What's the thing that you're doing with the Santa? In terms of what was your original plan with Santa?
Last year, I started growing the beard out because I like growing the beard out, and people sort of say, "Hey, you're looking pretty kind of Santa Claus there." They got a couple of jokes about it. I'm like, yeah. So I ended up trimming it back because it didn't ring well with me then last year.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about, I want to say the COVID depression that people experienced, but it's certainly what it was through all of 2020. So I thought about it in around June. Like, you know what? If I'm gonna make a few people smile as Santa Claus, I got to start now. So in June, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a conscious effort to make a Santa Claus beard, get the mustache to the state where I can curl it like this, and I'm gonna wear the hat, because if I'm wearing the hat, I've got the beard. give a smile to somebody here and there, and it makes them smile again, that one smile is worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth it keeping a fun beard, keeping a supply of wax for my mustache, and purchasing a silly outfit, and then I guess I don't know, June, July, August. August came around. I'm like, you know what? They're probably Connection Project is probably going to do their same Toys for Tots. Instead of just going with a hat and maybe a red shirt and a red mask, let's let's purchase a suit. And there's plenty of them on Amazon. This is what this one was, and expand it a little bit further because if you want to make a smile from just a hat, the suit do better? Probably. So that's sort of where my logic led me. And now
Uh-huh.
I'm part of the Toys for Tots. We'll plug that at the end of the show, of course.
Yep.
Toys for Tots fundraiser for the Connection Project, and I'll be doing my entire stream and dressed as Santa Claus like this.
Brilliant. Because I've given a wee shout out just now, but we'll do the whole thing at the end for that as well.
Of course.
But yeah, right. Tell you what, let's go and let's start looking at some photos of things that you've made, because you've made a lot of things.
Mostly pens and mistakes.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So first of all, your logo. Gotta love this logo. It's a perfect representation of you.
Yep. It's the Facebook like thumb
Yeah.
with bandaged and blood spot. That's all courtesy of Mega Gremlin. That's it.
Yeah.
It was a gift from him to me.
So absolutely perfect. Oh, now the first thing you said was that you'd made some wands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was this some of the first things you made on Twitch, or was this before Twitch?
The wands were pre-Twitch. And to his credit, my brother in chat, Kamajima311, made probably 30 to 50% of those.
Uh-huh.
So they're not all my work. So I can't take credit for all of it. But yeah, they were. There was a friend of mine from high school that was running a youth group that was doing a Harry Potter themed party. He said, I could probably make a few wands if you want, like just little sticks and whatnot. And then I called my brother over and said, hey, let's make some wands. It's a sort of like a little fun project that he and I did together to support our friend that's doing a Harry Potter party. She wanted like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, and we made a whole lot more because we were having so much fun with it.
Yeah, they are fun things to make. That's for sure.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I've attempted to make some ones on the lathe myself, and my God, as much fun as fun as they are fiddly, especially once they start getting thin.
Yep.
Try to taper the ends and all that. So
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, laser lathes.
Yeah, I've got a lathe. I very rarely use it. But I do have a lathe. I mean, I made plates once. I remember doing that. Did that on stream. And then these fantastic pens. These were for TwitchCon 2019. You said.
Oh yeah, those are for last year's TwitchCon. Yep.
So first of all, how was TwitchCon?
TwitchCon last year was amazing.
Do you remember much of it?
Yes, most of the days. I was with the Discord boys for a lot of the time, and they like to drink a lot more than I did. So it was a very fun time. There's actually a whiskey bar just outside of San Diego, outside of San Diego that we all went to. That was a really fun time called the Aero Club.
Right.
Hope they made it through COVID because that was a really cool bar with 1,000 different whiskeys on serve. But anyway, the Make Mistakes pens, I had just gotten partnered not long before TwitchCon 2019. So much so that the badge I had purchased for TwitchCon was under my Delbrock account, which wasn't a streamer. So I created a separate account altogether. I didn't just transition my Delbrock account to streaming. I just created a new account, and I called it Make Mistakes. So I had just got an affiliate right before TwitchCon 2019 started off. So I thought about, hey, there's a bunch of people I'm going to meet, maybe for the first time, maybe for the last time, that I want to let them know that I enjoy their content. I respect what they're doing. So I made a bunch of the basic kit pens. These are called slimline pens, and I can crank those out pretty quickly. I can probably do 3 to 4 an hour if I'm concentrating on them. But instead of just giving them, hey, here's a handmade pen, I also had this really cheap 2-watt laser engraver. That this is one of the inspiration things for me, for you lasers, that I had no idea what I'm doing with that. I made it work.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and going, you did a really good job with what you've got.
Right. So I took some random woods out of a grab bag I've got and just made some slimline pens. And yeah, production work. Ew, I get it, bear that. I try to avoid it where possible. I want unique stuff. But I ended up giving this out to people that I met. Yeah, well, thanks. Those are fun to make, and the laser engraver still kind of works. Maybe it's over there on the bottom shelf collecting dust at the moment. So yeah, those end up being gifts.
So were they people really liked them? They got one. Yep.
They are supporters around Discord Boys Now Connection Project that were inspirational to me, and they got those as well. So every once in a while, I'll say hi to them again, pop back in chat, and say, "Hey, I still use that pen, or found that pen again yesterday." And I'm like, "Oh, that feels good."
Yeah, the pen that I got from you was amazing. Like, I won a pen from one of your giveaways, and right. you keep saying it's a mistake pen, but it's an absolutely amazing pen.
That's one of the downfalls that I'm working on is I've got high standards for my output, and when they don't meet it, I end up being disappointed by them. So I sat on that mistake pen that I sent to you probably for 3 or 4 years before. Yeah. Like, this needs to go somewhere else.
And it's a lovely writer. It's like the best writing pen I've ever had. It just feels so good, and it's an
example of stuff I'm trying to come to terms with.
Yeah. And like, I look at it and I'm like, no, this is perfect. But I totally understand that though. And that I'm exactly the same. And I think I've had this chat with loads of people before, is that, as a maker, we always notice the imperfections of our own work a lot more.
We're way too close to our work to see anything good about it. Well, at least from my point of view anyway.
Yeah. And like, when someone else looks at it, they can't see it. Like, I'm looking at it and going, so what's wrong with this pen? What's the problem here?
Right. I can point the defects out for you. Just hold it up. Thanks.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with this pen. And that is the thing, as a maker, try to get yourself over that hump of going, something isn't totally perfect, and as long as it's not a structural thing, is right. It always going to be a major issue if someone doesn't, if it's never going to be noticed by anyone but yourself, is it really, a major issue?
It's a matter of understanding your own limitations
Yeah.
and working forward from where you want to improve.
Yeah. But yeah, it's but it's that bit of always trying to strive for perfection, but I don't think there's such a thing as perfection, though, is there?
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Oh. We've got some examples of you actually processing as well. So this is some of it on the lathe here. I need to put this back up on Discord for you. Sorry, I knew there was some. Just realised I wasn't sharing my screen for you.
I've got the stream up too.
Yeah, we didn't want the delay for you. I knew there was something I'd forgot to do. There we go.
Yeah, this is a walnut 2-part pen. I think we're in the sanding phases here. Really hard to take pictures of stuff on the lathe itself.
Yeah.
start bringing like a piece of paper to sit behind it. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it can be really difficult to get those sort of shots. But, the work that has to go into making something like this, especially, there's a lot of work, between, kind of cutting your blanks out, you then have
DOOTNOOT.
kind of, what you have to do, then you hollow it out.
Yeah, so the process goes like this. You find your stock, you square it off or round it off if you've already got it there. You cut it to the length of the kit tubes, drill the appropriate size hole through the middle of each of those pieces, glue that brass tube in, usually brass tube, sometimes zinc in the middle, and then you push those onto the mandrel with the correct size bushings, and you'll see that in the left-hand picture there. With the bushings in the middle and ends, those are what tell you the distance to turn the wood down to, so that it fits the rest of the parts of the kit correctly.
All right.
And yes, mistake guy. Dudes, we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So once you turn it to shape, you do your sanding, your finish, apply your finish still on the lathe, and then you do your final assembly. I started doing that probably 6 years ago at this point. Pens in general. My friend Ryan and I took a class at a local woodcraft store. Started with pens. We did a couple other turning classes with them as well. So he and I together learned a bunch of lathe turning skills that we still need to hone a bit, but we ended up forming an Etsy store together, and we didn't go too far with it. It's sort of like we agreed to pool our money that we make from sales of pens to buying better equipment to make more stuff on the lathe with, because we like turning stuff on the lathe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a get rich. It's not even a get rich slow scheme. It's a pay for new toys scheme. Pay for new toys scheme.
No, well, that's the thing. You kind of go, you make something just to reinvest it back into what you're doing.
Yep.
And it's very much the crafter's way.
Exactly. I don't think I ever sent you pictures of the commission I took. I had toyed with the idea of making some game boards called cornhole.
All right.
I don't know if you're familiar with
I know what you're on about. Yeah.
It's 2 wooden boards with holes in them. You throw a beanbag from one to the other. One of the guys that I worked out with said, "Hey, can you make me a couple of cornhole boards?" I said, "Yeah, probably." And he goes, I need 14 of them. What? 14? So he actually purchased them with his company's money because he ran a surf shop and he also put some in like the playroom of his other company too. So they actually had like a warehouse size where they had a separate entertainment area just for their staff. So I made them, painted them, put his logo on them, surf shop logo or company logo, delivered them, and said never again. One, I didn't price it well enough, so I made hardly any profit at all. So I couldn't really reinvest much at all. And two, I didn't use a tent when I sprayed the top coat finish on. So everything on that side of the shop sort of has this gritty coating of varnish on it. And I sprayed into the air. I made mistakes.
Yep, you make those mistakes. Zornoff has asked a question. How can I get one of those pens?
Ask nicely.
Yeah.
Which pens are you referring to? Do you want one of the Make Mistakes pens? Because I'm thinking about doing another batch of those and just giving them away. But if you want a special pen, I do have an Etsy store, a nice pretty one. Yeah, pretty please. Right. But anyway, I do have an Etsy store.
Yeah.
If you want to commission a pen, you can go through there and just DM me and I'll send you a link to the Etsy store. Or
feel free to drop your link.
I don't know off the top of my head. That's the problem.
All right.
I don't know it.
Is it on your page?
It is, but my bot isn't running, so you wouldn't be able to pull it up.
Yeah.
So
I will find it.
DM me, Zornoff, send me a DM and we'll talk about it. I can make you anything you like and send you links to my suppliers. Tune in on Sunday. I'll be making a pen on stream that will be given away in exchange for donations to Toys for Tots.
Superb. So it's not just wood that you work with, though. When you're making your pens, you're also working with resin.
Oh, I love that one. I'm glad you chose that one.
No, I cannot choose this one. This is the beauty one.
There's a resin maker on Instagram. He goes by Chaotic Artworks, chaotic with a K. His resin work is all handcrafted. So this blank was like he meticulously swirled and combined the colors such that it came out just like this. He normally works in like knife scale blanks, like we see Sasaki work with, Woodworks work with. But he did a run of pen blanks, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to be one of my few chances to get a pen blank sized, where I don't have so much waste off of the knife scale block that I can get in on. So I jumped in right away and purchased a few. I purchased 4, and I think it ended up like $80 for the 4 of them. So I think it's well worth it for the amount of material and effort that goes into making these blocks. So I ended up making 2 pens out of this one block, and I ended up giving them away as gifts. And this purple, I'm somewhat colorblind. I'm red deficient colorblind, but I can still see that's really, really purple and has a really good depth to it.
Yeah, in fact, we can show people the pens here.
Yeah, Wolfram knows. Wolfram knows that guy. Chaotic Artworks.
Yeah. So there's the pens there.
I made a pair of matching pens and ended up giving them as gifts to a pair of my more recent favorite streamers.
Look at that. You can see it.
Yep. You can't really tell from the video, at least from my perspective. There's some glitter in there as well. You got a raid.
Oh, and Really Quilter, welcome in. Thank you for that amazing raid.
Welcome, Raiders.
Thank you. Welcome.
There's sparkles in that resin too.
Well, there's sparkles in. Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's I always say it's subtle, but it's something you really got to hold in your hand to be able to see that sort of the detail. And I really love the blank. And I've got 3 more over there. I'm just looking for the right occasion to use them.
Oh. See how the two make such like resin once it's finished, especially when you're doing it. Oh, so there we go. And Really Quilter wants to stay on the good list, by the way. Oh, hopefully you will. Hopefully you will. Yeah, but yeah,
I'll check my list. Don't worry.
But like when you finish resin like this, it's just so amazing the kind of the shine and the colors that you can get from it.
Have you turned resin on the lathe yet?
I've turned some resin on the lathe, but I've never been able to get it right compared to what like yourself or Sasaki, all you guys that know what you're doing with resin.
There's just something so satisfying about the finishing final steps of turning and polishing resin on the lathe. Like typically you don't put a top coat on top of it because it's a solid chunk of plastic in the first place.
Yeah.
But if it's that last stage where you go from sort of smooth to the real shine, that really, really is satisfying. Yeah, that's the way to put it.
Yeah, because we've also got another one just to kind of show as well, like this blue one as well.
Yeah, that blue one was out of a grab bag.
Yeah,
I think it really well with the black hardware.
Yeah, that you've got that nice contrast. It just really does make it pop so nice. And that's the thing with like the pen making. You've got so many options as well with your hardware, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the pictures you've been seeing so far are like the MakeMistakes pens, and these are the standard slimline pens. But there's several different manufacturers for the kits themselves that are different finishes, different styles. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, Wolfram gets it. He knows that instant satisfaction of the final lathe thing.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but then this one here, you were working with carbon fiber.
Yeah, that came. It's basically a carbon fiber in clear resin. I didn't cast that one myself. It came already pre-assembled. So it's got the carbon fiber tube and the tube already inside of it. So I didn't even have to drill this, which is fine because I don't relish the thought of breathing in carbon fibers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Wolfram understands that point too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did this one come about? What's the process? So I assume you didn't go right down to the carbon fiber. I assume you're still within the resin with this.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
So you basically trim it down until it's just outside of it, and you go down to the bushings, which are still outside of the thin layer of carbon fiber. But the way the clear resin magnifies it, it looks like it's right there at the surface.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're able to hold it, you can see it right at the top edge and the bottom edge. There's actually a clear layer on top of it.
It's amazing. Like the thought that goes into such things. And then the execution that you've got to do to get that right. Because, one slip up and you're right into that carbon fiber.
I've been doing my fair share of blanks that way.
Yeah.
And that carbon fiber blank sat in my shop for probably 2 years because I was afraid to screw it up.
Yeah.
Like I bought like a special occasion blank when I felt like I got the skill or the patience necessary to make it look okay. And thankfully it turned out okay.
Yeah.
So I look forward to making stuff like that in my own resin casting to be able to, make some custom blanks. Not necessarily the way that Chaotic Artwork does, but some pretty cool stuff that dunk in some resin and turn on the lathe.
A message from Zornath. How much on average would it cost for a beginner's lathe?
It's a very good question. I'm still using the Harbor Freight lathe, and I've been using it for 5 or 6 years. Uh, I have both of them, both of those lathes. The larger of the lathe is under $400. The smaller of the lathes is under $200, I believe. So that's just for the lathe itself. I depends on what you want to do. You want to make
Mhm.
pens, turn small things, stuff like that. Working with the smaller lathe is perfectly fine. It has its own limitations, but I don't have any problem recommending Harbor Freight in this case if you just want to get started, because these two lathes have been around 6 years now, and aside from the punching myself in the face, which is totally my own fault, not any fault of the lathe itself. Um, uh, $200 to $400 US can get you started. Of course, there's a lot of equipment and accessories and kits and parts, tools that you'll need to include in that. But between a, um, a Harbor Freight lathe and some higher end tools, I don't recommend uh, this set of Harbor Freight tools you see on the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that. But I'm trying to think because Zornaf's in the UK. I'm trying to think the UK kind of ones, 'cause it's really awkward because like we don't really have like Harbour Freight that does like all that. We've got
right.
B&Q and they don't do lathes. It's this weird thing where lathes are not a common item that you would see in a shop. um, I'm trying to think because like I got mine from a company called Axminster.
Okay.
But I think mine. Let me just. I was just searching it there. There it is there.
Just taking a look around.
Yeah, because this is my one, the one that I
You
got
might be okay with
here.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's probably your best bet. For finding a cheapish lathe. Yeah, this is the one that I got
So,
there, which is like
so
£400.
both of the Harbor Freight models. These models are copies of older designs that major manufacturers have made. So this larger lathe right here, right to my right, which you can't see on the camera anyway, but it is a copy
Machine
of
Mart.
a jet manufacturer. So the the designs I understand are uh, expired or sold or even blatantly copied from those manufacturers to cheaper standards and cheaper quality materials. But there are sacrifices that can be made and still have a decently functioning tool.
Um.
So there are other companies
Oh,
besides
there
Harbor
we go.
Freight that can
Yeah.
handle.
Machine Mart, Zornaf. They do. I'll post it in for you. I know there was a company that did that sort of thing. Machine Mart for a mini wood lathe. It's probably the closest.
I'm taking a look at it
Yeah.
now.
It's probably the closest to Harbour Freight is probably Machine Mart.
Yep, that is
Yeah.
exactly the same look as the basic model. I can see the other one right over here. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically the same design. Like I was talking about, they sell the design, different manufacturers make them and distribute them. Yep.
And Seskimo has now added lathe to her shiny toys she wants to buy list.
Sorry, Genix.
Yeah, Genix will probably want to play with it as well. So
Yeah. But for as far as lathes go, I recommend not cheaping out on the tools side. So don't buy the cheap tools like these here on the wall. They're not very good in use. So find a tool manufacturer that has a little more reputation to them.
Yeah, I got a set of what do you call it? Oh, they're not carbides tools rather than.
Carbide.
Yeah, I just can. For me, I can get a hang of the kind of traditional tools.
Right.
Yeah, I much preferred using the carbide tools.
We could run an entire podcast on the difference between traditional steel and carbide tools.
Yeah.
I like them both.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. What's the weirdest commission you've ever had to make?
Weirdest commission. I don't do too many commissions, so. Besides the wands were an unusual request, but I relished doing that. I'm gonna think about that for a second.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I will tell you mine, which is still the banana rack. There we go. What's the thing what is changed up to? What's the weirdest thing you've ever made?
I'd say the femur is pretty weird.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. We'll move on to that one then, because that's next on the list anyway for pictures. So it's perfect. It's perfect. There we go.
That was pretty weird. I think it's out here somewhere.
Yeah. It's an absolutely amazing piece that you made here. Was this femur?
Yeah. Kirtissa has the monthly challenge Discord, and the September October challenge was bones or fossils. And I've always wanted to try this sort of bandsaw technique where you that sort of where it came from. I glued up a block of wood. Yeah, I made that. So you can see I glued up a block of wood. I printed out a life-size femur. Taped it on I took it on 4 edges, overkill. I cut out one dimension on either side of that. So you end up 3 blocks of wood. And you tape that back together, flip it over, and cut the other 2 dimensions. That leaves your center piece mostly shaped like the drawing, if you followed it correctly. I will say I'd made tons of mistakes on this one, including getting the entire workpiece stuck in the bandsaw. Actually, I had to take the blade off of the bandsaw to get the piece out. To pull the blade out. Yeah, I didn't do that so well. But I learned quite a bit. And then once you've got the rough shape, you sand it down. I've always wanted to try that, and her challenge gave me the opportunity to give it a chance. There's a lot of people do this for ornaments as well. Like there's this one guy who's like a bandsaw blade salesman. He's got this demonstration where he does that same process on a block about this big, and it ends up being like a reindeer. And he does it in like 30 seconds. Good stuff.
Yeah, I've seen someone like make a cup out of doing that same thing. So like handle and all, and all these sort of things. So there's so much you can do with that bandsaw technique. It's it's absolutely amazing. And like that bone is just spectacular. That's out the finished piece. You've really. I
don't say this very often, but I'm pleased with how that came out. So, consider that high praise.
Yeah, I think when everyone that saw it were like, okay, you've won. Yeah. Because how long did that take you in the end?
I made it life size too. So, let's see. I did the cutting over 2 sessions. And so probably about 3 hours of cutting, including getting the blade stuck and having to figure out how to re-put it back together after that point.
Oh,
So I could probably do it in 2 hours now, but about 3 hours of cutting and probably an additional hour of sanding.
Yeah. It's the sand that would have taken a while for that. But, that's,
So probably about 4 hours total, I say.
absolutely amazing, though. Absolutely amazing.
People say I need to make the rest of the skeleton now.
Yep, totally. Yep, the rest of the skeleton totally needs to be made. Right. What we're going to do here is have a little break from looking at your pictures. We're going to have a quick look at some other people's pictures.
Show us what people submitted.
So we're going to go to if I can press the right button here. Press the right thing. No, wrong thing. How am I doing? This one. Where is it? I've lost it. No, come back. Oh, nope, wrong one. Cancel that. Put the wrong thing up.
Too much Santa. Too much Santa.
Too much Santa, yeah. There we go. Weekly show off. There we go.
Ta-da!
Yay! Weekly show off. Guys, if you want to take part in this, all you have to do is go to the Discord and put your pictures in the weekly show off section. Every week on the show, we will showcase people's work and we'll give it a quick talking about between myself and that week's guest. Don't be afraid. Everything is very positive on this channel. I always like to talk about everyone's work.
Submit your mistakes. I want to see your mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me the picture of your block of wood stuck with a bandsaw blade in the middle of it.
Yeah, I should have asked for that, knowing it was you coming on. I should have asked for that one.
Yeah,
It shows your mistakes.
I may not have a picture of that.
All right. So.
Oh.
Submit your mistakes. Since Rose and Jennings. Oh.
I'm going to shed a tear for Jennings.
All right. The first one we have is from Seskimo's daughter. Seskimo's daughter created these. These are absolutely
and that's a real
adorable.
banana for scale.
Yeah, banana for scale. This was a craft kit that was all hand sewn, stuck together by Seskimo's daughter.
Box is adorable.
Yeah, she did, an amazing job here. How old is your wee one now, Seskimo? I'm thinking, what, 7, 8? Yeah, 7. Just like that.
7? Wow.
Yeah, so
It's
great
a lot
job
more skill
there.
than I have in that art at 7 than I do at 40 Wumble.
Yeah, so she did an absolutely stellar job there.
Those are great. If that bananas for scale, that's more of a life preserver DOOTNOOT.
Yep. Definitely. All those
If I'm going to
DOOTNOOTs.
drown, I'm going to drown with a delicious donut in hands.
Yeah, for that we need to drop some DOOTNOOTs. I'll have to drop the DOOTNOOTs for that.
Love it.
So she did amazingly well. Let her know that.
Great job, Seskimo's daughter.
Up next we have QCat.
I love this one.
Yeah, so this was an embroidery which was part of a Secret Santa gift. Oh, you okay, hun? That's exactly what QCat would say. Yeah, it's.
And the flowers are beautiful too.
Yeah, she's really good at all this embroidery. Yeah, Sesmo can totally hear QCat's voice saying that.
You can. And she says she's holding up with a bottle of Bailey's.
There's a bottle of Bailey's just behind it because she's classy like that.
When in doubt, pinky out.
Exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into doing that as well. Because that's not small. When you compare it to the bottle, there's a lot of work, a lot of detail. That's a hefty bit of work there, for sure.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yep. up next we have a new submission this week. Somebody new, Michi Me, has submitted some crochet work. Look at all these amazing bits of work. So we've got.
I'm convinced that the people that are fiber artists are some sort of magic wielders. As well.
They are totally.
They take the wands and they produce stuff with it.
Yep. That they are.
Magic
users. I tried it once. I managed to get a run, and that was about it.
I made a rope.
Yeah. But like these dice bags, absolutely gorgeous. Beanie is brilliant. The octopus sort of thing.
You can't have too many dice bags because you can't have too many dice.
Exactly. You can never have too many dice. Yeah. So these were some presents that were for worked lettuce.
Worked lettuce, yeah.
Yep.
I think I've seen him wear the beanie.
Yeah. So it's actually submitted more as well. So we've got all these as well. It's like these mini potion bottles are my favourite. The mini potion bottles are absolutely adorable. The bunny, yeah. Oh, these are just so cute.
So those are little stoppers that come out on the top?
It looks like it, or they're part of it anyway. But,
yeah, it's like they're little strings that are holding them in. Those are spectacular.
Yeah. Well, Sasaki says they do come off. Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
That's great.
such great work.
That's health mana and regen.
Probably, I'd say so. But yeah,
those are cool.
Yeah. Oh,
really great idea.
Such a great idea. Yeah. She did brilliantly. And I was just saying, absolutely black magic, absolutely black stamina. There we go. Yeah, but total black magic to be able to do this. And last up, we have Seskimo.
Great job on those, Michi.
Yep, totally brilliant job. Yeah, Seskimo with a Christmas narwhal.
Be still my heart. Oh,
so,
man.
The amount of work. Yeah.
Right. To be able to take this, place it here for us to share. It's spectacular. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah.
Like I love the detail in the little palm at the top and the lights.
Yeah. And I remember her saying that she was painstakingly trying to get all these lights perfectly placed. All of it, to make it work. The level of detail.
Please tell me you're making stickers out of these Eskimo, because I will buy some. No doubt.
You totally need to be making stickers of the Christmas narwhal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And magnets and everything. Because, it's too cute not to. It's too cute not to.
Exactly.
But absolutely brilliant. Love it. Love it.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. So there we go. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your work with us this week. Yeah.
Very much appreciated.
For the next show, which will be January now, so we're taking a little break for the Christmas. If you want to, please, and join the Discord. Post your photos in the weekly show-off section, and we will ensure they are included in the next show. So I always like to show off what everyone's up to. Doesn't matter what you're making. Art, crafts, something in a video game, music, anything at all.
Show me your mistakes too.
Yeah, mistakes as well.
Are meant to be shared.
Yeah, and any level. Even if you think, oh, my stuff's not good enough, everything is good enough to be shown. And that's, we don't, we're not going to be on here criticizing anything. We want to show that, no matter where you are in your crafting journey, everyone is making something, and you're all making something that's good. And that is, we're all here to support each other in this journey.
That's great, Jenix. Suskiman, I'd love to see Jenix's work.
Oh yes, Genix's videos, they're always brilliant. Yeah. Yes, Zornath, even your jokes.
The punnier, the better.
Exactly.
Your jokes may be mistakes, but you'll learn from them. We're not supposed to laugh at the submissions. What if it's a joke that he crafted just for us?
That's different, though.
Intended to be laughed at.
Okay, we're going to jump to something something a bit different for you. Something a bit new. This is DJ Delbrock. So, tell it.
Let me know if the heater's too loud.
No, you're all good. Yep. So tell us all about DJ Delbrock.
Well, through just YouTube explorations, finding new things, I've become fascinated with small noisemakers and synthesizers. I ended up liking them so much to say at the point hey, these are designed for people like me. I can see the musicians are using them to make accompaniments and really detailed songs and stuff like that too. But the company that makes these particular devices are the stepping stones for, and it doesn't need to be more than step one of making the foundation blocks of music and having fun in a small form factor. So now I bought a couple, feeding my addiction. My wife's buying me some more for Christmas probably, and they just, I don't know. It's a craft that I don't know well, music in general, but these are like a stepping block that I can carry around with me and just make poopy noises with.
Yeah,
they are right here.
We should give people a little example. I've got a little video here.
Show it.
Yeah. Oh, oops. Damn it.
One is a little bit different. And they're fun. They're amusing to me. I don't pretend to be a musician in any way, shape, or form. But if it's a tool where I can make mistakes and show people, I don't know, it's okay to make mistakes even in music too, even if you don't know what you're doing. That sort of thing.
Everyone's loving the dance and everyone's loving the beat.
You get the elf dance. Nice.
Yep. gotta have the elf dancing.
So now I'm branching out to more manufacturers of small stuff like this as I'm understanding what these things are limited to, what they can do, what other things are capable of adding in. So you'll see more of those. I've been doing a couple of small streams called Beats and Beer. Where I come out, a stressful day at work, I come out here, plug things in, drink a couple of beers, and craft some mediocre beats that sometimes turn out pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, it's something a little bit different, which really is really quite enjoyable just to kind of watch and kind of see where it goes.
Right.
Because these things, you never know where they're going to take you. In terms of the kind of, where that beat's going to go and what sound's going to come out of them half the time.
And these are designed to be able to pick up and play and have them roll through like a different effects you can apply, a different style that you can play them. I'm enjoying a lot of it.
Brilliant.
Look forward to more beats and beer.
Yay! It's always going to be great. Yeah.
Unfortunately for you, I ended up picking that up at like 9 p.m. my time, so it's what midnight for you.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm still awake at that time.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll attempt to catch them. So there's always the chance. Let's see. So you make other things as well. You can tell me. But some of the sort of things. This looks like something interesting.
That's part of my other hobby that I sort of alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was a maker, I became part of a historical recreation group called the SCA.
Yep.
Society for Creative Anachronism, if you guys are familiar with it. My wife and I got into that together when we were still dating when we were young. We're still members today. And like I mentioned, the Gothic arch chair and the camp furniture, those are all stuff that I got into making because I wanted to support my other hobby of historical recreation in the SCA. And this is another example of that. This is what's called a livery collar. It's designed to sit on the shoulders like that, and it's a symbol of a certain award in the SCA. A couple of friends had gotten one. I had got the award as well. So I tried to make one that looked incorporated elements of the people that I know, as well as looked the part. So those they're called ermine dots. They're not fleur de lis. They're ermine dots.
Right.
Those are all cast pewter that I cast.
Yeah. Wow. So you did all of that. So that was all hand cast then.
Those are all hand cast. That was one piece of leather belt that I cut, punched the holes, did the rivets, and assembled. What the mistake and the failure part of this is that the jump rings I use to connect them all together are normal jewelry jump rings,
Right.
which means as soon as it gets caught or snagged on something, it just breaks apart. So right after I made that, someone turned me on to a manufacturer that does jump rings out of stainless steel or harder steel. So you need pliers to open them. I'm going to place an order for those and remake that soon.
That's going to look amazing. Yeah. So when
it's called a livery collar.
Yeah. So then here we go with you there.
The super curly one. You may know that from the STA as a indicator for a master of defense.
All right.
Thanks, Gator. It's not a bell, it's a jingler. This is my one clear difference. Although this suit did come with a bell, too.
This is
it's a picture of me in my garb. It's I guess you'd say early Renaissance outfit I'm wearing. It's called a houppelande. I'm wearing a variation of that same livery collar, smaller version. I like the larger version better, but it's what I had on hand.
Yeah.
And then on the right are a set of lanterns that were made for a ceremony for a friend of mine. I did just the woodwork, to be clear on that.
Right.
They're not stained glass. They are stained glass paint on plexiglass. Were inserted into the lanterns themselves.
Yeah, that's it's amazing. That you've got that overlap. Where you can take your skills and put it into effect with your other. And it's a really cool hobby, for sure.
Yeah.
And
making a sword grips as well on the lathe.
with
With swords and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you'll be getting a lot, kind of a lot of different kind of stuff. I assume that, is it one of these ones where they're not expecting things to be made traditionally all the time, or do they want them made traditionally, or?
Well, if you're doing day-to-day stuff like the gear you carry around, and whatnot, there's not a high expectation of authenticity, but there is the arts and sciences side of the SCA where, hey, we're trying to recreate this as pure as possible, and here's documenting the process, and here's how I came about this logical conclusion based on the documentation, and that stuff fascinates me as well. And I've got a couple of ideas in that direction that I want to try and recreate. Like there's one guy who said, "I'm going to make a bucket," and making a bucket. What do you mean make a bucket? Well, what it takes to make a bucket in the period style. Okay, well, where do I get the wood? All right, I need to cut down the tree. What do I cut down the tree with? All right, once the tree's cut down, how do I shape the wood to make the planks to get the wood in the right position and cut it correctly? So he's talking about the tools and everything else. Exactly. The way we do it has it right. There are some people have that do it. They do everything correct, and it's a standard that people they're not expected to uphold it, but you make it a reasonable attempt.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What's the bubble? Some people that do everything period correct, but that isn't the standard that everyone's expected to uphold. That's good. To make a reasonable attempt, brilliant.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And my wife and I got into the SCA because we like the sort of Renaissance fairs and stuff like that, but this is more Renaissance fairs for yourself, and you get involved in the action, and you don't have to play a role for the public. You play it for yourself and for the friends around you. And there's so many friends, just like the crafters community. Just joining into the SCA is like joining another family.
Yeah. Well, that's
I get lots of swords.
that's that is the thing. That's one of these the things with like these kind of recreation groups. I've got friends over here that are part of that. I've got something similar in that I'm part of a LARP group. So it's it's not quite the same as recreation, but it's it's in that similar vein.
Exactly. It's LARP without having to develop a character.
Yeah. And it's they are very much a family, because you're there, you're working with them, you're interacting with them a lot, and then you do start making so many things with them, and they're when they go, oh wait a second, you can do this, could you do this for me?
It is really the origin of, hey, I could make that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I go to the Philadelphia Art Museum and I said, look at this chest from the era in which I wish to create. I'll take some pictures and try and make it. And make a lot of mistakes along the way.
Yep. But you've got the skills. You've totally learned what you're doing. And as much as you're making mistakes, you're learning from them. And you're producing amazing work. Yeah.
I have some skills. I'm working on the rest of them.
Yeah.
But speaking of skilled people, Gators in chat, did you see the whale? He made the whale bottle opener. He should have totally submitted that.
Yeah, that's amazing work. Yeah, absolutely amazing, Gator. Really cool. Tell me about this mallet. Because you said there was a story behind this mallet.
There is. Let's see if I can. If the mallet's out here somewhere. See if I can see it within a couple of seconds. No, I don't see it. It's out here somewhere. But anyway, that mallet is cherry.
Mm-hmm.
I call that the mallet of vehicular damage. Last year, driving home from Thanksgiving at my parents' house on a dark back road because I live basically in the middle of nowhere. Um, there was a car coming this direction, bright lights on, and I couldn't see what was in the lane of travel on my side for that brief moment. Just happens to be this log, cherry log, probably 8 inches in diameter, maybe even larger, probably a foot and a half long. Somebody had cut it probably for firewood and it fallen off the back of their truck or whatever, but it was directly in the lane of travel right where my wheel is. And I hit it. I hit it hard. It rolled around inside my wheel well and then flung itself out. So I stopped. I picked it up so that nobody else would hit it. I threw it in the trunk of my car, and along the way home, I'm feeling the rumble in the front end of the car. Turns out it damaged some of the steering linkage and the armature for the wheel, and I think part of the rim as well, costing me $700 to repair.
Ouch! Ouch! It's a hefty price.
So I was angry. I'm not an angry person. I was angry about this, that somebody was so careless to leave that road. But I thought about it. You know what? I'm gonna destroy this. I'm gonna throw in a lathe. I'm gonna put it in the lathe. I'm gonna turn it all to sawdust. And and that'd be very, very cathartic for me.
There's some pictures of you cutting it down.
Yep. So I thought better of it. Like I wanted to turn it all to sawdust because I was angry about it. I thought better of it, and it ties in nicely with the entire Make Mistakes channel. Is I turned it to something useful. I took my anger at this inanimate piece of wood that has no volition of its own and can't act upon where it was placed, and I turned that into a carver's mallet, something that I can pick up and use that to make something else further down. Like I'm gonna try some chiseling, try some carving work. One of my inspirations is Timber and New. Everybody knows Timber as far as the makers and crafters.
Yep.
But
Amazing wood carver.
Such a great talent. So I'm gonna take that hammer of vehicular damage that I focus so much rage and anger on. I'm gonna make it something useful. I'm gonna turn it into a tool that's going to help me learn going down the road. Get it? Going down the road.
Well, lost your voice again. Oh.
Check. Microphone.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Sorry, I think we might have lost your video though. You seem to have frozen again.
All right, stand by.
Yep. We're gonna lose. Listen. I'm over too. No, we're back. We're back. There we go. We have you back. Yay. Perfect. Technical issues ensue.
As they do.
Yeah.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Exactly. These things happen. Yeah. So, when you were sending me photos, you also sent me some, what looked like some amazing, things, places, like this. It looks absolutely freezing. Yeah.
My wife and I like to travel.
Yep.
These pictures are all from our second trip to Iceland.
Ooh, nice.
The one on the right is actually inside of a glacier, in a little glacier cave.
Wow.
And I think the center bottom picture is one of the lagoons. But it was right. It actually wasn't as cold as you would think.
Yeah.
We loved it there.
Yeah, it looks so amazing.
We had a really big plan for 2020 because it was our 20th anniversary this year to do some really cool traveling around the United States, and it would end up like we'd go to Arizona, fly into Arizona, tour the Grand Canyon, stop in Las Vegas, some of the Mojave Desert, and then end up our drive in San Diego at TwitchCon. We had it all planned out, and it didn't work
Well,
because
first
of
of all,
COVID.
congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
But
She's
yeah.
my best friend. We've
Yeah.
been dating since high school.
Yeah.
Together since 1992.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. And the fact that you're doing all this stuff together, you're able to share the workshop, and she's not shouted at you too much for taking over her space.
Yeah. She is a beautiful soul for letting me accommodate or occupy her space.
Yeah.
Her workshop space, I mean.
Yeah. Talking about your workshop. Oh, stop that. Don't want to get those pictures yet. This is your workshop here. That is an amazing space that you've got.
It's been one of our goals to make this. And when people say, you tell people you're going to make a workshop, they say, how big are you going to make it? And the answer is always, how big should you make it? Is as big as you can get away with and as big as you can afford.
Yeah.
So this is the size of shop that could fit on our land that did not require a variance to allow us to build any larger on it from the township or the state.
So how big is it?
It is 40 feet by 48 feet. And the double doors represents the split down the middle. So you're currently viewing the back side of the garage door side, which is quote unquote my side. And that side ends up being 24 by 40.
Yeah, so it's a good fair size then. So it's it's pretty much another house.
The square footage is actually slightly larger than our house.
Well, so yeah, you've got
when they say build as big as you can afford and manage and to fit on the property, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah,
and I'm running out of space already.
Well, that is always the thing, though. You're like, yeah, I've got all the space. Oh, wait a second, I've just bought so many things. Where am I going to put them all?
What's the phrase that nature abhors a vacuum?
Yep. Yep.
I had space, and then stuff came along to fill it. And granted, a good 50% of the tools that are in here came from my deceased uncle. And my cousin said that, here, I want you to have these because you have the space and you're a woodworker, and I want you to carry these forward. So I'm still figuring out what to do with most of that.
Yeah, it's that bit where, when you inherit tools, and then you end up with like doublers and all that sort of thing. You've then got to figure out what's there going to be. So I was wondering, is there room for a new CNC machine in there?
Room? No. But I do have a CNC machine. It's about this big.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't include that picture in there, but yeah, I did say there was a picture there that had, the little tiny CNC machine.
I made a few cool things with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a CNC certainly is in my future. We'll see how that works.
Yeah, all the cool tools. And you've got a laser. You need to get the CNC. You got a 3D printer yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Talking with our friend Super Cow Man, who has his own 3D printer farm.
Yeah, that he does.
Stand up for a second.
Not a problem.
I'm sitting on a stool. It's actually the most comfortable one in the shop. You still see me on the screen, okay?
Yep. You're still on perfectly.
I have no pockets though. I know what the girls in their dresses are complaining about. There's no place to put your hands.
Yeah. The other thing that you do, and why we keep calling you Buff Santa, is your keep fit and wellness parts. You've started doing that on stream, but is this been kind of a lifetime thing, or is this more of a recent thing, and it's kind of change?
It is a lifetime thing, but my lifestyle led up to lifting weights and doing that sort of thing because I turned 40 6 years ago, and I saw what was on the horizon between my genetics, my family history, and whatnot. Like, I went to the doctor, and high blood pressure, sure, high cholesterol, genetic, yeah. Even like changing my diet only brought it down so far that I still require medication for cholesterol and other genetic issues. I'm like, you know what? Time to do something about it. The 5 years prior to that, I had a gym membership. The gym membership is at a place that was halfway between my work and my home. It's an hour plus commute. By the time I get halfway through my commute, there's no way I'm stopping somewhere to go do a workout because I'm just too tired and worn out on top of the workday and the commute that I just never went.
Yeah.
It was money was thrown away. So I said to myself, let me find a personal trainer, somebody that will focus on just me, and someone that's within minutes of my office. And that did the trick. I met this guy, Game 7 Fitness. I think, unfortunately, I know, unfortunately, that COVID has forced him to close the office, close the shop for a while. Hopefully, he can make it back afterwards. We'll find out. But he was able to work through strength training with me because I wasn't a strong person. I was just a person. Somebody sat around at a desk job all day and ate myself into oblivion. That's still kind of true, but it turns out that I've got the body structure, understanding of body mechanics from the fencing stuff in the CA that I was able to turn that into an amateur power lifter. So, and it wasn't my goal to become a power lifter, and I'm not a competitive person, so I'll never go to a powerlifting meet. But it ended up being that my goal was to become more fit, and it turns out that strength training is the way that helps me get to having any sort of workout at all. Like otherwise I wouldn't do much at all. I mean, you can do cardio, what you're not and whatnot, but it was the fascination of seeing what my body was capable of that led me to go further down that road of strength training. And I feel pretty good where I left off, which at the end of 2019. I was doing the three major lifts, bench press, squat, and deadlift, well above somebody that you would expect my age to be able to do.
I've seen you on stream doing some stuff, and just like your general fitness stuff, and it's quite inspirational to see. People, you kind of go and I need to do this, and
right.
And it does push people to kind of go, oh yeah, maybe we should be doing this as well.
And there's no age limit. There's no age limit in either direction. There's no gender limits for making yourself a slight bit healthier by doing something that you might enjoy. So that even if it's something small, I encourage you to do something that makes you happy, and hopefully you like the results.
Yeah, and also you get to be called Buff Santa or Swole Santa. It's Okay, this next bit needs to come with a warning. The next slides come with a warning. For many mistakes have been made, and there may be a possibility of some blood.
Yeah, mistakes have been made.
So please be aware. I have to make this aware. So yeah. So first of all, what happened?
Well, let me sit back down for this one. No blood on this one.
No blood in this one.
Our property has a bunch of great trees on it. During one particular stream, a large cherry storm. During one particular storm, a large cherry tree was completely blown over from the roots up, and it happened to fall directly on our trailer. It crushed it like a tin can. Fortunately, I was not involved in this one. I wasn't cutting it out of a tree. It's not something that I was directly involved with, so I can't call this a mistake except for where I parked the trailer next to the tree.
Was this? Was this the same one? Was this the same one when you were streaming, or was this a different time a tree fell down?
Different. This is well before that.
Right.
But the good news is the homeowner's insurance covered the cost of a new trailer as well as the other damage it did. I mean, of the places this thing could have fallen, and that trailer is just about where it was. You can see how close it is to the shop behind it.
Yeah.
And my house is to the right, and behind the camera are both of our cars. And the places that tree could have fallen onto the shop, onto the house, onto the cars, or onto the telephone pole that supplies the power to the shop.
Ooh.
It fell in between the pole and the shop, almost exactly, directly on the trailer. Like I had a vengeance out just for the trailer. Crush that trailer.
Yeah, it was the
I got real lucky sort of.
Yeah, it was the best of the bad bunch. Really, the trailer was the best target. Really,
That was it.
Yeah.
So the insurance company paid for a replacement, and I was able to strip that trailer down. It's now a flatbed.
Hey, so
still
bonus.
Structurally sound.
So
2 trailers.
Nice. So you got lucky from it.
Exactly. I came out on top of that one.
So,
it was an impressive crushing, though.
Perfect. So, guys, this time, this is the proper warning for blood at this point. Blood. So please be aware. Here we go.
TVMA.
What happened?
Well, I'm waiting for the screen to update so I can see what you're talking about.
Oh, is it? Is the... Oh, there we go.
Okay, now. That's fine. On the right, those are the glasses that broke when I punched myself in the face. So that's from that clip you posted earlier, which is pop the lens right out. The left, hard to tell because I've cut myself on the hand like that in similar fashions.
So many a time, regale us with a tale.
I think I know. Judging by the tire underneath my arm, I gotta say, it's not a nail gun. This is when I was taking the steel off of the crushed trailer. So I started going to town with a reciprocating saw and a steel cutting blade to cut all those pieces of aluminum off. That's probably me handling the aluminum, and like most normal people that don't want to make mistakes will use gloves, but I failed to do so.
Well, you then have something like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could probably show you a dozen pictures on my phone that are similar to that. Some from my forehead, some fingers.
You can. Oh, It's the perils of working in a workshop. Really, you're always hurting something.
So was right. Gloves are for critter wrangling in the house. It's a different story.
So what happened to this machine? This looks like a bit of a lathe. Was this the lathe?
That is the lathe.
The lathe.
Right here.
Yeah. This is the punchy lathe.
Exactly. You can see in the top left picture on the right hand side, that's the pulley I was trying to slide out of the unit by prying upon it without realizing there's a set screw holding it in place. So you can see where it's completely broken in half. That's what gave away, and when pow.
So how did you manage to break the lathe in the first place, or was it broken when you got it?
It wasn't broken.
All right. All right.
I bought this brand new, and after about 5 years of usage or so, the pulleys are not geared.
Right.
You see the slots in the pulley? They're made to mesh together through those slots as they're spinning, and that changes the diameter of the pulley itself as they come in and out. I had noticed that the action wasn't very smooth, and I wasn't able to get the right speeds the way I expected it to. So I started taking it apart to understand, one, how it worked, and two, to see if there's anything wrong that I could fix. And during the this assembly process, I had no idea what I was doing. I assumed that this was press fit onto the shaft, and I could just spray some WD-40 in there and slide it off the shaft. Had I paid better attention, or not made mistakes as well as I do, I would not have had this fun story where I punched myself in the face on screen.
A legend was born.
Exactly. And an emote.
Yep, exactly. And then finally, the roof.
Yeah, the roof.
I never got a chance to get the video, but
if you go to my page,
yeah, I'm sure it's there. I'll just grab that.
My channel trailer is the actual video of it. Like I said, we've got a bunch of great trees. We had a bunch of great trees on our property. A bunch of black cherry, a couple of sassafras, black locust, a really cool silver maple in the backyard, a couple of spruce trees. I love our backyard and love all the trees in it. Unfortunately, not all of them are survivable for the storms we've been experiencing. So, I don't know, 5-6 days before what you're seeing the damage of here in the picture, we had a storm come through and knock down some pretty big trees. Fortunately, none of them fell on the roof of the shelf or the shop with the cars. So it was sort of like, all right, we can handle this. There's nothing in danger. It can stay where it's at until we get a tree guy out here. They're dealing with more important stuff like downed wires and damage to roof cars. We just let it go. But what we didn't realize is that one of the larger trees that had fallen, if you're looking at that shop, it had fallen away from the shop. It was resting on another tree. And over the 5 days of that large tree sitting on a smaller tree, it slowly brought that other tree to the breaking point till it fell down, wham, right on top of the back of the shop, right here above my head. You can see in the video that he posted there, that it actually moves the windows and doors and the camera because it shook everything. I had these hearing protection Bluetooth headset in over the wire now, so it wasn't very dramatic for me, but you can kind of see in the upper left-hand corner of that clip, that's actually a heart rate monitor, the number. So you can see it as you watch the clip. It starts climbing numbers and going up.
Just a bit, as it should do when a tree falls on your shed. You know?
Exactly. As the saying goes, I'm glad I was wearing my brown pants.
At least the good thing is it didn't come through.
Yeah,
you know,
it didn't come through. It didn't damage any of the understructure either.
Yeah,
it just crinkled like the three end roofing plates that are steel construction. I was able to have the guy come out that built it, and he came out with one of his guys and replaced all three of them.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all, really. Yeah, considering.
Yeah, unfortunately, the cost was such that it was still underneath my deductible for my own insurance, so I didn't bother submitting it. Just paid for it out of pocket, which is fine. Yeah, there's one less tree to hit my shop.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you? I'm trying to remember what happened to that bit of tree. Did they take it away before you managed to steal any of it?
I scheduled myself to be here when they were taking it down, but unfortunately my schedule changed, so I wasn't able to come out there and say, "Hey, give me this piece, give me that piece there." So I get none of it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do what I did with the hammer, the road log. I couldn't do that with the tree that damaged my shop. But I still have pieces from other trees that have fallen still in my pile out there. That's waiting to be addressed.
Should be making things with them at some point.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Making mistakes with them.
Oh yes, totally. Now this picture. Now we've got over the mistakes and other such things. This next picture is what made it really. Oh, I'm losing my light. Light was sent to fall over. Don't lose my light. Stay. Thank you.
Need some duct tape? It's right over there. I can grab yourself.
Yeah, totally. Send it over. Yeah, this one, next one really makes me jealous. Because look at all these games. Look at them all. God.
Yeah. Well, I did say that the wife and I had been together for a very long time. And one of the things we connected over when we were in high school was gaming in general, not necessarily board games and whatnot. But we would play NES and Sega Genesis together and just have a grand old time. We've kept up our hobbies of gaming together. We have gaming PCs. We've got pretty much every console imaginable. Like, we don't have a Switch. The Switch is the only Nintendo console we don't own. Curated over many years, exactly. So when one of our friends we met in the SCA decided to open up his own board game store many years ago, I'm like, board games,
danger!
Huh? And my wife and I, we just dove in head first, and we've become more board game collectors than players, unfortunately, because time is what it is.
Yep.
I'd love to be able to sit down and play this. It's like a retirement project for us to play all these games.
Oh, and there's just so many of them. You're just looking through them like, oh, you've got this, you've got that. Oh, you've got this one. Oh, see the piles of them.
To be clear, the right picture and top picture are organized into the bottom left picture.
Yes.
So they're not separate pictures.
Yeah.
Separate
yeah. But there's still a lot of games there.
there's a lot of games there. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And you'll definitely be enjoying playing all of them at some point.
No doubt about that. There's a couple we go for every once in a while with friends, and stuff that we prefer to play 2-player. And yeah.
So what's kind of your favorite games to play?
Ooh. So it's sort of like the categorization. You want a party game? You want a player game? You want a war game? You want a cooperative game? I give recommendations in each category.
Oh, yeah. Well, Although, yeah, we could be here all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, how me with some recommendations, quick.
All right, for two-player long-term sit-down play together game, Twilight Struggle. Twilight Struggle. There's even a Steam version available. Twilight Struggle is the one to go. If you want a drinking / party game that will make everybody end the game, not necessarily to the end, but to where we can't breathe anymore because we're laughing too hard. We have to end the game. There's a game called Time's Up. Yeah, Time's Up, which is sort of like a cross between charades and sort of like a trivia game. The Time's Up Title Recall, play on Total Recall, is probably the best version of that. You get 6 people in a room to play that together. You will end up breathing heavy because you're laughing so hard. So there's 2 short-term recommendations.
Superb. Oh.
Race to DEFCON 1. In Twilight Struggle, DEFCON 1 is a losing condition for both players.
All right. So you totally want to get there. Right?
Exactly.
Now, on your Instagram, all the time, all I'm seeing half the time is you posting pictures of the amazing wildlife that happens around you. Mm-hmm. There's always some animal in your area.
Yeah. We've always had the groundhogs, the bottom left picture. We've had a pair of groundhogs. You may call them woodchucks or groundhogs or marmota monax, some sort of marmot. We've had a pair for years that took up residence underneath of our wooden shed that's back behind the actual workshop, where I sort of lawnmower and garden tools and what like that. We gave them full run of it. All right, dig underneath of it. You're not going to damage it. Fine. Unfortunately, this year, they decided that they became a breeding population.
Oh.
So besides the pair we had, they had 4 more babies, and that became too much for their warren. They started digging underneath the workshop itself, and we can't have that.
Nope.
That's a concrete slab. You're going to cause collapse. So we started doing some humane trapping and hired a guy to come take him away to a release point that he had registered with the state. So we had the opportunity to get some close up and personal with some marmots. At least 3 wood, sort of 3 wood. That's how much wood a woodchuck could chuck. 3 wood. The furry beasts in the top picture are 2 feline overlords. On the right is Goldie. On the left is Freya. Freya doesn't like anybody but people. Goldie loves everybody. And on the right is an example of a quarantine hobby. Sesimo's got a Freya too.
Yep.
Quarantine hobbies on the right is we started feeding birds in our backyard and seeing the new and interesting species that we would not normally see. You get your normal like the starlings and doves and stuff like that, but more recently we've got species that really shouldn't be in the area. They should be further south this time of year. We've got a scarlet. Why am I blanking on the term? Oh well, there's a scarlet tanager. Thank you.
There we go.
Scarlet tanager. That this is where we're at in New Jersey is the topmost part of their range. They should be further south in Florida at this point. So it's fun and interesting to see stuff that we would normally see, other than the normal like day-to-day birds, finches and sparrows and whatnot. It's become a hobby for us, and we've got a camera stationed right there at the back door for anything new and exciting we might see. And that one on the right is one we've only seen once. It's a yellow-bellied sapsucker. I've never seen one in person before taking the picture. I haven't seen one since.
It's amazing. It's that bit where if you look long enough and put out the right foods and all that sort of thing, you never know what you might find.
It's become a hobby for us.
Yeah. Wow.
It's fun when the wife goes out to put some food out in the morning or the evening, they'll fly away, but then you'll hear them start setting up the call like, oh, food's on. They're just waiting for her to go back inside, so it's time. It's really
amazing. Brilliant. Oh.
Of course, it comes with squirrels.
Yeah, of course. Always comes with squirrels. They do enjoy going, oh, look, there's food. Let's just go and steal it.
Exactly.
Let's jump back to the main bit now. So we go. So we've got a look at all these amazing photos and things that you do. But now we've got the big question. The big question. The question that is on everyone's mind. What is...
Been waiting for this one.
What is your favourite DOOTNOOT?
Are you guys familiar with the Boston cream?
I know the name, but I don't actually know what is in it.
Okay. Boston cream it's a round donut, but it's a cream-filled donut, dark chocolate topping, but the cream inside isn't your normal like fluffy cream. It's more closer to what you would say a pudding or so.
Right.
That's sort of where my heart lies. I still love the glazed donuts like the bear claws and the normal glazed, but the Boston cream's got to be top notch for me.
Nice.
Top spot.
Excellent. So there we go. Boston cream, guys. If you can get yourself your hands on a Boston cream, give it a try. I know I'm gonna have to try and get one now. Brilliant. Because we've always got to ask what everyone's favourite DOOTNOOT is. It's all part of it.
Of course.
DOOTNOOT. Yeah, we need. Oh, it's not typing. Come on.
DOOTNOOTs.
There we go. Gotta fire that off.
It still makes me laugh. So
yeah.
well.
Every time. Right.
The DOOTNOOT podcast.
Yep. We'll just change it that. Yeah. We'll just change it to that.
Have you watched the Donut Guy?
Donut King. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, you have to watch him. He's just brilliant. Finally, could you recommend some streamers for us?
Yes, I could. Like I said, I've been watching Twitch for a very long time, so it took me. I had to struggle to focus on just getting a list that I could recommend. I did have to write them down so I could refer to them. Streams to check out. So on the makers side, there are 4 people I want to recommend. Most of you probably already know them because you're all makers themselves. The first is Gangles914. I'm not sure if you know him yet. He's a lathe streamer, just getting started with the S, Gangles.
Yep. I just realised I missed the S out there.
He's just getting started in his Twitch career. He's got the potential to be like the next Work Lennis, the next the next Lasergeek or something like that. He's got potential. He's got a great attitude, and I think he's worth going to check out.
Definitely go and check him out. He does some amazing work. It's really fun to watch.
The next maker I want to recommend is Stray Robotics. I met Stray probably through a raid from some of the other makers that came through. One of the more unique streams because he's got this goal of making this rover that's going to be a commercial kit for people to purchase and assemble themselves as sort of this STEM kit that he's going to market towards kids. And I think I admire the goal and the stream in which he's talking about them, and you can really tell he's enthusiastic about it. And I certainly recommend the Stray
It's got an
Robots.
amazing ethos to it, definitely. That whole STEM ethos as well. Really, he's pushing for that. It's so good. Yeah, definitely someone else that you should definitely be following if you're not.
Agree. So I've got a long list, so I'm going to try and cut it down for the sake of time. There's a group of synthesizer people, musicians on Twitch, that put together a monthly synth fest. There's actually one going on this weekend. It's basically a raid train from one musician to the next on Twitch, where they use their synthesizers. They make some really cool, awesome music, and it's organized mostly by this one person called Actitect, ACTITECT. So architect, but Actitect. I can type it in chat too.
There we go. I think you got it. Yep.
Yep, you got it.
Yep.
Super talented musician. Just stuff on the fly, and I think is like one of the highlights of the monthly synth fest they've been putting together. I recommend it. Also in the music phase, because as my tastes change, I've covered most of my topics I want to see on Twitch from the makers to crafters. I'm going to broaden my horizons, get a little music, because I'm starting to learn more how about music works and how synthesizers work and how electronics feature into that. There's a group called Love You Loves You, LUVU, LOVESU.
LUV. Sorry, spell that again.
I'll type it.
Yep, that's fine. You've got mod
Actually,
power. You've got mod powers.
I can shout them out myself.
Let's see.
Hi there.
Let's see. You're one of my mods. You can do it.
All right. So, I typed it wrong. Love you, loves you. I thought I typed it right. Yep, stand by. Anyway, this is two people. It's YOU at the end. And come on. Loves you. Anyway, there we go. This is a couple, B and Jared. They're musicians. They put together this live, impromptu, on the fly music set that just evolves over the course of their stream. That is both chill and exciting, and so much so that they're underappreciated as far as Twitch goes. They should be partners by now. They should be, I don't know, on a stage somewhere, because they've got the skills and the stream quality to put together that I don't know.
I think, did you read us into them once? I'm sure.
Yes, I think
yes. Yeah, they were really good, really interesting. Sounded quite different, but really, really interesting.
So talent and unique stream combined to make this overall vibe that feels great. So much so, like Dandy does in chat, she's a partner streamer who has her own unique stream, and I certainly recommend you check her out too. But she had Love You Loves You come in and host the music for her stream for one of the special episodes recently, and it's sort of like mind-blowing. It was so good.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll do one, and thank you for Danny to do the shout out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Daddy does it. It's so much fun as well.
Yeah.
A very unique stream, to say the least.
Yeah. Unique.
You just go and watch the stream and enjoy it.
Yep. You really can't set it up anyway. You get just to experience it.
Yes.
We can't explain it to you. You got to experience it. So I'll do one last shout out since I'm here. Is the Connection Project.
Yep.
kind of
So
circle
yep.
back to these people because they're the ones that got me into streaming. They've been my friends and they've guided me in this side little hobby that's become uh, another source to make friends and share my what limited skills I have and share my philosophy about making mistakes. So I shout out them whenever I can. Actually, have a command on my stream to go follow them. And they put together this stream called the Connection Project, where it's a weekly podcast, a vodcast, where they have a guest on. They talk about Twitch, they talk about happenings around here, and spread the word about just the really cool people you can experience on Twitch. And any donations and subs and bits made to the channel all go to charity. So kudos for them. Other than the operating expenses for like Discord and Whereby and whatnot, everything else goes to charity. They've raised a lot of money over the last year or so to go to different charities, and I appreciate what they're doing so much so that I'm one of their mods as well.
They are such a great stream, great group of people. As I've said many a time before, this vodcast was inspired by them. Like seeing what they were doing, I'm like, we need something, to show the people, what's going on in makers and crafting. Taking a slither of what they do and kind of bringing it into makers and crafting.
And I appreciate what you've done here. It's a great project you've come up with.
But as I say, it was the inspiration from the group of people there that made me kind of go, yeah, we need something like this. And then seeing other people using, also kind of going, right, we need to make other things as well. Because like, Momo Blues channel as well that's been going on. But, you were saying this weekend you've got a big charity stream going on. So
exactly.
Tell us about
this.
Project
is supporting Toys for Tots again this year. They did it last year, but under the Discord boy's name. But they're putting together, I think, 57 hours total, sort of like the Synthfest, where they take from one streamer, rate it into the next streamer, into the next streamer, leading up to the podcast on Sunday. Last year, they asked me to fill in a time slot, and here I am this year again. I'm filling in not but the same time slot, which is not exactly conducive to my West Coast viewers, but for you guys in the UK, it's a perfect time slot. I'm doing a 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Sunday. So it's 10 a.m. for you. So it's a little early in the morning for me, but I'll be doing the entire Toys for Tots 4-hour stream.
Brilliant.
Dressed here as Santa Claus, Maximum Santa. I'll have some... every donation will spin the wheel of mistakes.
Ooh.
So this is something I generated last year. Move my jinglers. So last year I made this. This is the wheel of mistakes.
You're brilliant.
It doesn't spin on its own, but I've got an air compressor that spins it just fine.
Well, you gotta use the air compressor. That's just the
exactly. Oopsie. So it's a whiteboard. I'll be writing on challenges and things that you may wish to see me try to attempt.
We got exercises. I was going to say, what hints have we got for what you might be attempting?
Yeah, exactly. I've got some ideas. Featured on there will be the return of Del Brock Don't Eat That. I don't know if you call any of those episodes, but I think I did 2 or 3 episodes previously where I take something that most people wouldn't eat, and I eat it on stream and give a little review of it, because I'm not afraid to eat and try new and different things, different combinations of things. People that still call it food, but maybe weird and odd. And I've got a couple of fun things I want to try. Like you go down the ethnic aisle in your local and find stuff like this. I don't know if you can read that or not.
So what's that? It's
It is
pineapple something.
chicha morada,
All right.
purple corn drink.
Purple corn drink.
It is
Okay.
made. It is made from water, purple corn, sugar, pineapple, citric acid, cinnamon, clove, and potassium sorbate. I've never heard of it. I'm going to try some purple corn drink on Sunday.
Sounds like an interesting drink to try. Will it be really good
But I've
or
got
really bad?
Or really bad. Or really corny.
Oh. Let's just
And that's the last time Del Brock was on the screen.
Yeah. Oh.
So I've got a bunch of food items like that, a couple of physical challenges because I've been slacking on my exercise. So I'll bring some of the heavy weights over here. We'll redeem some of those on the Wheel of Mistakes, and a couple of giveaways as well. I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to give away, and I'll be hopefully, if people aren't wearing me out with exercises, I've got plans to do a poll on what type of blank to use for a pen. I've got set aside. We're going to make that pen on stream. Roll my sleeves up, dressed as Santa, and get a little chips on my cape here. And we'll give that pen away to one lucky participant. So
Brilliant.
hope you guys can make it out on Sunday. Give a little bit of money to the kids at Toys for Tots, one of my favorite charities.
Really good charity.
It's one of the few it's one of those few that passes basically everything through. They don't keep hardly anything for themselves, and it's making children smile. At least this year, and especially this year, has been top priority for me.
Very much. It's definitely one of these things. With how terrible this year's been for some folk and for a lot of people. Charities like that are well needed. So.
And if you can't contribute to Toys for Tots, just come hang out in the stream because I'd rather have more people here hanging out and laughing at my shenanigans and my mistakes than not.
Yeah, and get the word out about the charity. All that sort of thing is always good as well. Exactly. Spread the word.
If I had a poll on that, I would dance on it. If I had a poll.
Brilliant.
Now you're going to start a fundraiser for a poll for the shop, I'm sure.
You just need to make one on your lathe.
Exactly, yeah. It'd be about 36 inches tall.
You just put it together like a pool cue, right?
Do that 7 more times with the ceiling.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Absolutely amazing.
It's been my pleasure, Colin, and I thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome.
Quite the experience. I enjoyed it.
It's been brilliant just being able to listen to you and hear your stories. Learn about how things came to be. For the Make Mistakes channel. And
I got plenty of those stories.
Yeah, so much more stories. But and that's the thing. Everyone's got so many stories.
Right.
That we could just go on for nights and nights doing these for everybody. But
Exactly.
Everyone's like,
who do you have lined up for the next Makers podcast?
I don't know yet. There's people that are on the list that have said yes, but I've got plans for I'm trying to figure one out for just before New Year that's going to be a special one that's not going to be kind of guests. I'm hoping to get something going for that one. And then in the new year, I'm going to try and do a themed month. So I've got a bunch of people that I'm like, ooh, y'all kind of fit into a theme. And I'm hoping that's going to work. But more on that soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that's all going to work out. But
excellent.
Hopefully I can I'll have more details very, very soon. Because basically next week it's going to be Christmas, so we ain't got to be doing anything next week.
Right.
I've got to interview the CNC, totally. But yeah, next week we're off. Following week, hopefully there'll be a Makers podcast for the end of the year. Going to do something special for end of year. And then in New Year we'll be having something special. Let's get this camera to focus on me again. Camera, focus. You feeling like focusing camera? Thinking about it. But yes. It's gave up on focusing. Oh, there we go. It's focused now. Right. So, guys, we're going to go and raid Calamity. Going to go give last week's wonderful guest a raid.
And Calamity Cat is a top-notch streamer, too.
Definitely. No, I'm not going to stream on Christmas. Totally not. But yes. But again, guys, if you're not already following Delbrock Make Mistakes, you really should. There he is. You know, what? Do you have a schedule, or is it more just whenever you feel like streaming?
Whenever I feel like streaming, unfortunately.
Yep.
I eventually should have a schedule.
Yep.
I don't yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because I am who I am. I can't make a schedule for this.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it all matters of when you can or not.
Exactly. More likely to beat some beer because they're easy to do. I just power up and just make some noises.
Yeah. That's perfect. But yes. But, you know, if you're not following, give them a follow. Absolutely amazing. You never know what's going to happen. Most likely some mistakes. Hopefully no blood. So let's hit this raid up. Oh, hey, Feathered Phoenix. We are just about to raid out. You're just, there we go. But hopefully everyone here is on your nice list. That's.
I'll check twice. Don't worry.
You'll check twice. Superb. So let's hit this raid up, guys. Let's get the raid message. I really should change this up to be a bit more Christmassy. But hey.
Cookies are Christmassy to me.
Yeah, the cookies are Christmassy. Exactly. The cookies are Christmassy. Exactly.
Thanks for being here, friends.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. You're all amazing people. All absolutely amazing people. Yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow for my standard workshop stream. I will see some of you there. If I don't see you there, I will see you all in other people's streams. Have yourselves all a great weekend. Let's jump to this screen. And we should hit this raid up. Catch you all later. Let's hit that button. Let's hit that button in 3, in 2, in 1.